Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here to close out the week, at least the weekdays here on the Cabral Concept Podcast. This is our Friday review where anything goes. I bring you the recap of the week, the what's going on or what's happened over this past week. What do we have going on coming up over the next week or so? But also, I love to be able to bring you my favorite product reviews. Today's product review you won't want to miss. It is a best-in-class infrared sauna blanket that you may never have heard of before. So that's why I want to bring it to you. I've tested it myself. It's absolutely amazing, and can't wait to bring you the details on that, on how quickly it works as well. I will also be going over 2 research studies because I've been doing a lot of research over the past 2 weeks on one particular topic. I want to share that with you and how it relates to our overall mental health. So without further ado, let's dive right into today's show. So always, again, I love being able to go over what's been going on over the past week, a lot of like what I've been thinking about, what I've been going over. Two things that I've mainly been going over, mainly been thinking about. And one is just literally how fast time seems to move. You know, I know a lot of people share this same sentiment, but when I look at it and I'm like, oh, you know, my daughters are literally going back to school in 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks or so. And I know a lot of other people's kids have already started school. So it's pretty surreal that, you know, the summer's over. We're all looking forward to the summer, coming out of the pandemic and now being able to enjoy it. And, you know, by the time we get into the fall season, who knows what will bring for us, what's ahead for us, what's in store. And the second is that, you know, we don't know what's in store in terms of the world climate, as we'll call, like what's going on right now in the world. Will there be more lockdowns? Will there be more different viral based variants? You know, what's going to be happening? So a lot of people have asked me to continue to speak on this topic. The unfortunate thing is that I really can't. It's not that I don't want to. Of course, I want to be able to share all the information I have with you. I wish to be an unbiased source for you, but I don't know if what you've seen really happen over the last couple of weeks is that some of my colleagues, some of them share much more, what's the right word for it? Because I don't want to be disparaging in any way because I look up to a lot of these people, but they share much more strong views on one side, we'll put it that way, right? And I like to stay more balanced, okay? So, but here's the issue, is that I like to look at everything from a balanced perspective. So if someone's telling me to do this, I say, okay, let me see why. I mean, they're very passionate about it. What do they know that I may not know? What do I need to learn here? And I learn about it. I figure it out. And I say, okay, yeah, I see the points that they're making. And then these people over here, they're so passionate about their side. And so I say, well, how are they right if these people are right? So I listen to it saying, oh, that's very interesting. Okay, got it. I get it. I understand. And then for me, it's about making the best decision for myself and my family based on the actual science. Both sides are pointing to science, right? And so for me, it's saying, okay, but like really, without trying to skew your numbers to look better, because everybody does that in every industry that they're in, I say, how can we actually look at this? And also, who does this most apply to? And when we look back over the last year, just for the first virus that we all spoke about, that we all know about from the last year, we understood that who it affected to the greatest degree. And so that was really important that we protected those people and that we all did our part to help protect those people that were most at risk. And it will always be like that into the future, is to saying like, well, who's most at risk and what do we need to do and what's the proper precautions? And that's for everybody to make their own decision. And unfortunately, even though I do have an unbiased opinion, I simply go by the facts, and then I allow you, because it's your life, it's your family's life, to make the right decision for you. And really, that's what hopefully this is why people want to come, to the U.S. and other places, is for a lot of these freedoms. And again, I am a person who just believes. Again, I don't have any political views. I have a people view, meaning I put people over profits. I put people over anything else. It's people is what this is all about. It's trying to help your fellow person, just like I was helped many years ago. And so I'm simply just trying to pay it forward to others as well. But The reason is I can't speak on any side that doesn't go along with the main narrative. That's the bottom line. And if I do, then I will most likely be censored as well. And I feel that what I'm doing, at least for right now, is helping people to a greater degree in my own little way to be able to get this podcast out every single day for 20 minutes completely free. And now we're doing this on YouTube, and that we're up to a larger following there. We're growing, and on social media. And so my goal is simply to serve and to help. And if I'm censored, well, sure, I might have stuck up for certain beliefs that I had and help people in some way, but then I'm censored then forever. And I've got hopefully a long career in front of me and talking and helping a lot of people. And so what I want to be able to do is to be able to teach people for the next 30, 40 years. And so, like I said, right now, there are different ways to do this. I will try to do it in the best way that I can, but a lot of people have asked, and I'm simply not going to be able to give you any type of narrative that doesn't go along right now with whatever the mainstream is. And so it's unfortunate because I believe in some of the mainstream, and then I don't believe in some of the mainstream. But if I share any views that don't go along with the mainstream, then it is censored, and then I will be essentially removed from the platforms that I try to reach people. So it's a tough decision for me to make, but I'm going to continue bringing you all the natural health tips that I can. And I'm hoping that if we all improve our overall health, there's not much for us to worry about in general. And then we can do our part to help others. All right. That is that on that topic. And now I can always point back to this show. So one thing I did want to share with you, and really, and I'll be honest with you, the best thing that you can do for your overall health is to figure out what might be wrong with your overall health. Even if you're feeling pretty well, fantastic. I still run this Big 5 every year. And then starting last year with the pandemic, I've run it now twice a year. So it's called the Big 5 Labs, and it looks at your omega-3 and inflammation levels. It looks at all your vitamin levels, all your mineral levels. It looks at your gut function. It looks at your detox function. It looks at your energy and mitochondrial function as well, so that you produce good energy. It looks at all the hormones in your body. So it's looking at DHEA and testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol levels, all 4 throughout the day, your thyroid, T4, T3, TPO antibodies, insulin, hemoglobin A1C, and really so much more. Your food sensitivities. The Big 5 is really what it's at. And twice a year, what we do is we offer $500 off. So this is absolutely the best time to be able to get your Big 5 Lab bundle while supplies last. It's technically $600, but my team listed at $500, and it's an unbelievable price. We're basically getting you at this for we'll put it this way, a remarkable deal. And it also comes with a 90-minute health coaching consultation where we explain all of your results unrushed, and you also get a plan to help bring up your imbalances, remove the toxicities, and also bring up those deficiencies. So I can't recommend it enough. Now is the time. If you've been looking for a good time to run a lab test, the Big 5 Labs at a $500 off, you can't beat that anywhere. I mean, that's a guarantee for sure. So take advantage of it. Head on over to equi.life. That's EQUI.LIFE while supplies last this week. All right, little podcast recap. Episode 2019. That was our Motivation and Mindset Monday. And is reaching your highest potential for you. And, I kind of felt there's always a couple episodes that I give a little bit of tough love. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. This episode was a little bit of tough love because a lot of people stop before they reach their highest potential. Their highest potential in terms of their health, their wellness, their anti-aging, their body transformation, their relationships, their spirituality, their career. And a lot of people say, okay, I'm satisfied. I'm good where I am right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I just wonder why you're stopping, why you're not looking to say, is there another level that I can reach in my own life? And so I explored that on episode 2019. And that's really what the Mindset and Motivation Mondays are. It's not to tell you what to do. It's simply an exploration of what might be possible. Episode 2020 was how gluten and glutamate cause learning disabilities, autoimmune issues, and neurological damage. Check that out. I'll be talking more about that in just a moment, but that was a really great one for children and adults on mood, mind, learning, and immunity issues. 2021 was fasting versus caloric restriction. The big differences, 7 big differences. You'll want to check that out. Caloric restriction is actually very different than intermittent fasting. And episode 2022 was yesterday. That's reversing Alzheimer's and dementia is now possible. A lot of people believe that any dis-ease that they're diagnosed with, they say, that's it. I mean, I can't believe it. I am now a sufferer of X, Y, or Z, right? But that's not the truth. That's not the truth of the matter. Most things are absolutely reversible. They really are. Most dis-eases of the body are absolutely reversible when you understand how you got there. So it's always about understanding how you got there. What are the toxicities inside your body? Viral-based, imbalance in hormones for toxicities like extra estrogen, extra testosterone, let's say for women. It could be heavy metals. It could be candida overgrowth. It could be bacterial overgrowth. It could be H. pylori. It could be parasites. There's a lot of different reasons, but there's not a million, right? There's a couple dozen. We're able to find a lot of those, the majority of them with the big 5. And so that's really what we try to help people do, is we just help you understand that these things are reversible. And I go through that specifically for Alzheimer's and dementia on episode 2022. That brings us to today's show. All of today's links will be at stephencabral.com/2023. So first things first on the show, now that we've gone through our updates for the week, I want to take you through the product that I've been using over the last week. And it is by far my new favorite infrared-based product. So I'm going to go to their website right now because I am just using this product. I'm not here as a spokesperson for the company HigherDOSE, but when I get great products, and I use great products, and I use a lot, then I can give you my honest opinion, but I can also give you someone's opinion who's used lots of different saunas. So I'm going to show you the box right now, and this is about how big it folds up to. So I'm going to move back. If you're watching this on video, great. We appreciate you on YouTube or right over at stephencabral.com/2023. You might want to head over there too, because I'm going to link up a couple other videos to my Instagram channel, which shows me going through this too. So here's how big the box is. It's about, for those people that are listening on audio, 2.5 feet by about 8 inches or so high. So this is what you receive in the mail. Nice box. Comes with a nice folded, which looks almost like a rubber mat. That's basically what it looks like, and it's folded flat. So this mat can go anywhere. You can literally, or it's a blanket. I don't want to call it a mat, but it looks like it's a flat mat, and it can go anywhere. You can fold it and put it under your bed, under your couch. That's the great thing about it. So reason number 1 why I really enjoyed this product. Well, let me give you that in 1 second. For those people that don't know, what is an infrared sauna? So an infrared sauna is essentially a unit that you can sit in or you can lie in. This one's lying. And it heats up the temperature inside so that you start to sweat. But the infrared waves, the infrared technology, actually allows you to then detoxify a greater amount of mold and heavy metals. Those are just 2 of the toxicities that it helps with. So I'm a huge proponent of regular dry heat sauna as well as infrared sauna. So I've mentioned before some pop-up saunas that you can use right in your home. Love that as well. I've mentioned the barrel sauna that I use, but this one is easy to travel with, very convenient. And here's the thing about it. Within 10 minutes, this was, and again, it has levels 1 through 8. So if you're not used to doing sauna and you don't want it too hot, you can just put it on level 1 or level 2. And it can actually sit there for a good 45 minutes, and it's just like a warm blanket. You essentially lie in it, and then you clasp the blanket over you. And I'm going to put a video up here as well so that you can check that out. So it's super easy to use. I had my daughters in it for only about a minute or so because they're very young still. So this isn't for young children. But I used it, and 2 things about this. So 1, it heats up within 10 minutes, which is unheard of. Okay. So like it usually takes 30 minutes to really heat up a sauna. And then the second is you start sweating immediately. That was the biggest difference I found. Here's why. And again, I cranked it up to number 8. Okay. So I just want to let you know, I'm experienced with sauna. So I put it right up to number 8. I got in and I was sweating within 5 minutes. A lot of people who do sauna, they don't sweat very easily. Why would you sweat more with this infrared sauna blanket by HigherDOSE? The reason is that it is actually touching your body. There is less air, and so it goes directly to the body. Why does that make a difference? Okay, let me tell you why it makes a difference. When you heat up a sauna, you have to heat up the air, the ambient temperature, the air inside of the sauna. If there's more air, it takes longer to heat up. If it's not really tightly closed, it's hard to maintain temperature. So what you do with this infrared sauna blanket is that you wrap yourself in it. It's basically like wrapping yourself in a giant blanket, giant towel that just has a little bit of weight to it. The little bit of weight is nice. It's like the weighted blankets I've talked about before. And so when you go in this, if it used to take you 20 minutes to 30 minutes to sweat before, which I've heard many times from a lot of people for using infrared, you'll be sweating within 10 minutes. If you put this at a level 8, you will be sweating within 10 minutes. I was sweating at 5 minutes. And go in however you want. Put a bathing suit on and go in. I do recommend putting down a towel because you're going to sweat a lot. Now, why am I such a big proponent of sauna in general? Here's why. Humans were meant to sweat. It's actually the main detoxification organ of the body is the skin. Literally, the skin is the main excretory organ. We like to think of it as the liver. And yes, the liver is internally, but externally, it's the skin. And you give your liver and kidneys a break if your skin is allowed to sweat out toxins. So that is why I'm such a huge proponent of. And back in the day when people were outside and they were working, they were sweating every day. They didn't have to do a specific workout. If you are not sweating more days than not, I would recommend getting yourself one of these infrared sauna blankets, and you can use it for 20, 30 minutes if you want. Believe me, you will be sweating. So I recommend a good 30-minute session. If you can do it for 20, that's fine too. You put a pillow under your head. That's the only thing that I did. Literally, I had mine on a hardwood floor. You can put it right up on your bed if you want. And the nice thing about this too is I tested it as well. It's low EMF. And here's another reason why it's low EMF. This company's thought about a lot. They put the charger. So basically, I shouldn't say the charger, the electrical unit. So everything obviously needs a plug. It's electric. So what you do is you plug it in where your feet are. Okay, so way down at the feet, that's where the plug is. It's away from the rest of your body, which is really nice. So again, I do think they really thought this through for this. And it's a good product. We'll put it that way. So what I'm going to do is, of course, you always see if this is the right fit for you. The other nice thing about this, it's about half the price of a lot of the other infrared saunas. So price is always a nice thing. The size is a nice thing. You can store it away, especially if your spouse, not naming any spouses, doesn't like you to keep your sauna popped up, in your house, and they might want you to put it away when it's not in use. So again, easy to use, super easy to clean up. You can just use that towel that I was talking about to wipe up any sweat. And you can pop out at any time. And it also heats up within 5-10 minutes. So you can turn it on, get right in it, and you don't have to do an hour-based session. So again, I'm a proponent. I like it. I can recommend it. I will link it up today. And hopefully the company gives our community a discount. I don't know that they will, but we definitely reach out for you and we say, hey, can we get a discount when this podcast goes live? Hopefully you're tuning in when the podcast goes live. Head on over to stevencabral.com/2023 for any discount codes we may have. All right. Last up, I'm actually skipping my book review this week because I really wanted to talk about sauna and I want to talk about products that I like. I use a lot of products, get a lot of products, and they don't usually make it to the show. This one did. But the other thing I want to share with you is that I've been doing a ton of research over the last couple of weeks on diet and mental health. And so that's taken up a lot of my time instead of reading like books, which I usually do. So that's a lot of what I've been doing more about. And I'll tell you, I talked about it last Tuesday. Hopefully you tuned into that show. What was that, episode 2020? But for children and adults, we don't take it seriously enough, and I don't think the mental health profession takes it seriously enough. For all of the mental health based therapists out there, psychologists, psychiatrists, I really believe that if you are not addressing the gut, the diet, and how people are eating and how inflamed they are, it's you're only working half the equation. You can work on the mind, but you also have to work on the body. The two are intimately connected. And you'll see that on Tuesday's podcast, but also I have a couple more coming up this week. So just keep that in mind. I just want to give you that tidbit. And then my two research studies for today are based on diet and the mind. And what we're doing to our body, unfortunately, is affecting our mind with what we eat. So this is more of a consumer health warning. They are now allowing food companies to not have to label the food dyes as the actual number themselves. This was really disturbing to me. Let's see if I can find it for you right now. It's called Tartrazine. I know that for sure, but I just want to see what number yellow. It's yellow number 5. So let's say back in the day, you were drinking that Gatorade or whatever, you were eating like jelly beans or whatever, and it would have to say yellow 5 on that. And when you see yellow 5, F, D, and C, yellow 5, you'd say, oh, well, they're literally putting paint in the food or drink that I'm consuming because it's a paint color. There's no way around it. This is a bad thing. And we're putting this into our body. We know that it's causing mental health and neurological based issues. Again, like I talked about in episode 2020. So they're now allowing it to be called Tartrazine. Keep in mind, look for that. All right. Tartrazine, Tartrazine. All right. Make sure you're reading your, anything that's brightly colored that doesn't look like it would come from nature most likely has one of these. The other one I wanted to give you to look at was called Allura, Allura, public health warning number 2. Allura, red AC. Okay. So this red dye food product is especially dangerous for people with allergies and asthma and neurological issues, mood issues, as well as ADHD. And Allura, the red dye, has been linked to that as well. It's not just red. It's anything to give it that bright colored color, and it can be used in things like chips and frostings and fruit snacks and all sorts of different of those brightly colored beverages, energy drinks, sports drinks, all right? Be careful, Allura, Tartrazine, if you see it, don't buy it. All right, the next research study that I wanted to give to you was on diet and psychosis. So basically, I've been, again, reading a lot of research. What is research? I go on PubMed, I look up a specific thing that I'm looking to learn more about, and I read through massive amounts of research. So you don't have to if you don't want to. And this was on schizophrenia spectrum disorders. Just keep in mind, schizophrenia is not one particular diagnosis. It's like autism. Autism is a spectrum of disorders, and same with schizophrenia. It's a spectrum of mental health-based disorders. I don't love the term disorder, but it's an imbalance. That's really what it is. So I just wanted to read this to you. I've read lots of research on this, but this was a very large study. So 55,330 results were identified in this particular study and search. It looked over 822 different studies that met for inclusion for this mental health-based disorder. And they made a connection between the presence of psychotic disorders and poor quality diet patterns, which means higher intake of refined carbohydrates and total fat. In this case, it was particularly saturated fat, and lower intake levels of fiber, as well as higher levels of omega-6 fatty acids, lower levels of vegetables, lower levels of fruit, and vitamins and minerals such as vitamin B12, B6, folate, vitamin C, zinc, and selenium. The evidence illustrates a role of food allergies and sensitivities, as well as microbiome composition, and specifically phytonutrients such as L-theanine, sulforaphane, and resveratrol, all of those great for anti-aging and detox. Experimental studies have demonstrated benefit using healthy diet patterns in specific vitamins and minerals such as B12, B6, folate, and zinc, as well as the amino acids serine, lysine, glycine, and tryptophan. So that is the medical research from the study. It's actually a very nice conclusion that is less medical jargon than they usually use. But what did it say? Well, people with schizophrenia and mental health disorders are more than likely inflamed. And there's lots of research on inflammation and schizophrenia or mental health. So they're eating diets. They might not be overweight, but they're inflamed. They might be taking in more processed carbohydrates. Maybe they have blood sugar dysregulation. And it looks often that they're taking in a lot more inflammatory fats as well. Not a lot of mention of protein, but it did on refined carbs and total fats. It also said that vitamins played a big role. B vitamins, vitamin C, zinc, selenium. Interesting, because all of those are needed in detoxification of the body, regeneration, energy, mitochondria. But one of the more interesting things was a lot of people were lacking in a lot of the good amino acids that actually provide the precursors to the neurotransmitters such as GABA, acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, like tryptophan for serotonin, serine we're looking at as something that's good to help calm cortisol levels and anxiety. So these are all really important factors that we look at, but I don't think that we have to get overwhelmed as to what vitamins to take, this, that, or the other thing. You follow a good anti-inflammatory diet plan, like I've been preaching to you for many, many years, and you use something like the daily foundational protocol. You don't need to, I think, nitty gritty supplement with like higher levels of B12, higher levels of this, because the body works in synergies. And I don't think that you need to go high dose on a lot of these specific things. But I wanted to bring that to you today. I mean, the main thing is to look at diet, to look at inflammation, and to really look at the gut microbiome. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much, of course, for tuning into the show. I appreciate you. I will be back tomorrow answering our community's questions. So hopefully you tune in then. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. And for all the links from today's show and research, head on over to stephencabral.com/2023. Thank you so much for tuning into today's podcast. Once again, I want to let you know that I appreciate you, and I'm so happy that you're a part of this community. I also want to let you know when we have amazing special offers going on over at Equa.life. And right now is probably one of the best offers we ever introduced to our community, and that is the ability to run the Big 5 Labs at $500 off. This is something that we like to do twice a year. If you took advantage of it in the spring, congrats, that's amazing. I'm happy for you, because these 5 labs will literally tell you everything about your omega-3 levels, your inflammation levels, your digestion, your mitochondrial function for energy, your sleep, your hormones, your stress levels. It looks at all your vitamins, all your mineral levels, your food sensitivities, and so much more. They're simple to use, easy to take. You use them right at home. And then once you mail in those labs, you get a 90-minute consultation. Not 15 minutes like you get with your typical doctor. You get 90 minutes with one of our certified Equa.life health coaches. They take you through your results. They make sure you know what they mean. And then they give you a plan personalized for you. It doesn't get any better than this. And for right now, while supplies last, you can save $500 by heading over to Equa.life. That's EQUI.LIFE. Hope you take advantage of this, and let me know if you have any questions. Take care.